I will start to talk. All right. And we are alive. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I'm super excited. Welcome to Black Cat TV. So I'm Summer. For those who don't know me, I'm a psychic medium, and I got the lovely Kova with us today. He's an occultist, and he's got lots of um, abilities. And we also got a special guest, Ryan. So Ryan, you won a free rune reading from Kova. So I'm super excited uh, to see what's going to happen and to have the reading. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Before we start, let me just tell everyone, please share, everyone share, because sharing is caring, you know that. And just give us a like and some thumbs up. I'm going to share too while I'm waiting for Kova and Ryan to talk a little bit about themselves.
All right, Ryan, floor is yours.
Hey.
Tell me all about you. What don't I know?
It's the first time I know Ryan, so go on.
Okay. Honestly, if I were to have any abilities, I wouldn't be sure of them. I've always been sort of an occult magic enthusiast, and I've had very few experiences with stuff that was unexplained or anything like that. Let's see, I'm pretty bland in that sense, but I have been talking to Kova quite a bit, and he's taught me a lot. He's pointed me in a lot of really good directions, and shown me a lot of good information just in the short amount of time that he sort of exposed me to some more of this. I've known him for quite a while, but yeah, he's a pretty talented guy. I like I said, I've always been into that sort of stuff. So I make music. And so, can you hear me okay and everything?
Yes, I was just checking the sound. Yeah, that's fine. It's perfect. So you saying that you do music? You make music? Sorry.
Yeah. I make music that's inspired by some spookier aspects of some magic, sort of.
The very specific genre that he makes is a little bit on the heavier side. I've listened to some of the upcoming stuff he has in the studio, and it's actually pretty exciting, reminiscent of some older tunes mixed with some newer sounds, very progressive, very technical.
So
I was actually really impressed.
What do you call it? The type of music that you do? Hello, Anthony. You're Anthony.
Yeah, what kind of music do you make, Ryan?
It's more extreme music, like I guess it'd be considered death metal.
Progressive death metal, right? Melodic.
Progressive death metal, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Music, yeah.
Yeah, he's the vocalist of his band. What's the name of your band, Ryan?
Ancient Colossal. So Colossal is kind of like Fantastic Beasts, massive creatures. It's mostly just lore. There's no bones or anything of creatures that exist like that, really, that we know of. But that I had joined the group after it was established, so I didn't choose the name. But some of the current members really like fantasy and things like that. So
one thing I really noticed about your music, Ryan, was the very occult, supernatural theme that lays underneath the concept of consciousness and the astral plane.
Absolutely.
There was I think even a song about Chronos, so even some Greek themes as well.
Yes. Absolutely. So, I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah,
so how did you start to do that kind of music? Was it because of the supernatural, everything that you've been seeing? And then you just got inspired, or
I think you got hit in the head a few times in a mosh pit, and I think that's what started it.
Well, part of it was what I had been exposed to, just with some of my friends and the folks that I was around, and then I got inspired with some concepts about mythology and things like that. That was sort of like the premise of the band before I had joined. So I wrote the story about Kronos, which is the god of time, getting overthrown by his offspring. And the interesting part about it was he was told in a prophecy that his kids would take his throne. And so by him acting on that and suppressing his children, that's what caused them to uprise. So, there's a lot of funny stories like that.
Yeah, it's again, do you have a release date for that yet, Ryan?
Not established, but it's in the coming months. Most likely, since everything's been a lot slower, everyone's more inside. We're just waiting on the rest of the production end for videos, things like that, and then it should be out, I guess, in the next month or two.
What we'll do, Ryan, is after the video is done, you can go ahead and post the link to your Facebook page down there in case people want to scope out some of the live videos that are on there and stuff.
Absolutely.
If you like bands similar to Black Dahlia Murder and Gojira and Iron Maiden.
Oh, wow. So is that the first one then, Ryan?
The first group?
As a group, and it's going to be like what? Are you going to launch a CD or like a?
Oh yes. So this is our first release CD.
Yeah, debut album. It's pretty exciting experience, and they're going to do a tour that they haven't announced yet. But
can we have an autograph? Can you sign it?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure Ryan would love to give people autographs if they ask for them.
Hello, Margaret.
Ryan was my first patron of the many patrons that I have, and he was supportive. And the reason why he got selected for the free reading was because of his status as one of our patrons here at Black Cat TV.
Yes, yeah. I didn't have many people there, but Ryan was one of them. So
right. So it was very helpful that the reason why we can do what we can do and continue to do is because of the support of those who listen. And if there's ways that you want to support and you want to get involved and you want to do work with us, as Ryan knows, we're very easily approached.
Mm-hmm.
We're very approachable. I call Ryan more than he calls me. Just because
we're busy with this band.
Well, it's about relationship, what we're doing here. And we want to make sure that we look after each other and build each other up.
Absolutely.
So, of course, everybody, make sure that you share and make sure to just get in on this. There's a lot of exciting things to do and a lot of exciting things to have. So what we're going to be doing today is called divination, right? Specifically with runes. And last week, some of you guys who listened in and paid attention and comprehended got a little bit of an understanding of what runes were and the little bit of history. Now, there's many different types of divination out there. Divination meaning to divine, using your intuition to discern the chaos that is around you in order to receive signals from the other side.
Thank you, Anthony.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Costa. I hope I pronounced that right.
Margaret is asking, how are you? How are we doing today?
Right. So, Ryan, how are you doing? Are you excited for this reading?
Absolutely. It's a nice sunny day over here, not a lot of clouds. And
where are you from, Ryan?
Colorado.
Oh, that's amazing.
The sunny state. The sunshine state of Colorado.
You live nearby then? You live nearby, you in Kova, or it's quite far away?
Indiana is what, 2 or 3 states away?
Okay. It's like 5 states. It's like 5 states. It's a job. It's not easy being separated from family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty rough.
Just a phone call away.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, there's Ryan. You work on cars as well, don't you?
Yes, sir.
If anyone got any questions, please feel free. By the way, this is quiet because there is lots of people doing lots of shows at this hour. I'm pretty sure in a bit we're going to start to get a bit more busier. But let's get on. Tell us about you.
So divination, right? Discerning signs in order to tell things. There's a very common thread that is used, of course, is runes. But what most people are more in contact with, at least in pop culture, is tarot cards, right? Tarot cards being, I have them over here in my box, right? Tarot cards being this deck right here.
We lost Ryan, by the way.
Oh, did we lose? Oh, there he is.
Is that?
He was probably adjusting something that he needed privacy for. You know, as all ladies know, him being my mother-in-law, he had to take care of some things. So, now you can also do. There's palm reading, there's crystal gazing, there's scrying, which there's various different forms. I do coffee readings as well, tea leaf readings, things of that nature. But readings like those, of course, work better in person. Okay, so when you're at distance, it's good to use forms of reading that have symbolism, such as tarot cards and runes. And today, we're going to be focusing on runes and using the runes because the tarot layout that I do specifically, I require a table and I do private consults, and I like to take about an hour to spend time with the client to really explain the cards and everything that's going on. That's more time than we have here right now. All right.
Excellent.
So
it's exciting. I keep all my.
Kova, how do you work with the runes? Do you just do like a general, or do you ask people to ask you for questions? How does it work?
I like to do the blind approach to divination. I don't ask any questions normally when I go in, and I cast, and then I do the same thing for the cards. And I tell the person to simply just keep it in mind what they want to know. And I will do this, and I'll do this with complete strangers. Presidents of organizations and things of that nature have come to me and asked me to do readings because their competitors wanted readings, because they got readings, so the competition had to get readings too, right? And the one thing that really sold it to them to understand the validity of the practice was the fact that I don't ask questions. It was the fact that what I do works regardless if you tell me anything. Right?
All right, then.
For instance, Ryan, you know engines, right? Does the engine work better or less if you ask it questions? It has nothing to do with asking the engine questions, does it?
Not really, yeah.
It's
Ryan,
the mechanics. It's the mechanics in place.
Sorry. Ryan, do you do any cards or any kind of divination? Or you work with cards, for example, cards is the most popular, that's why I'm asking. The most, let's say, easy or more normal.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of a reception issue. I guess you were asked. Would you? I'm sorry. Would you?
I was asking if you work with cards or runes, or if you work.
Do you do any form of divination yourself, Ryan? I think we lost his audio for a sec. He doesn't do any craft. He does a lot of study.
Oh, that's interesting too.
Yeah. And he's looking to get into more. I got him on a track to do a specific ritual set, which if anybody actually wants to come on and be taught, I do personal tutoring, and I have a few apprentices and things of that nature. And I do it on a case-by-case basis. I've known Ryan for a decade. So, some may say his entire life, considering our relationship. But as to the way the runes are going to work is there's multiple different methods. You can do a singular rune pull, right? You do a single rune pull, and then you can talk about that rune, or you can pull 3 runes and talk about those, or you can cast. You can put them into a bowl and shake the bowl, and then lay them on the table. But since I'm here in the seated position, I want to show people probably the most simplistic way that deals with the least amount of personal manipulation to really leave it to chaos, right? Really leave it to chance. Because I believe when it is left to fate and left to the divine to orchestrate the event, and I'm the least amount involved in it, then there's no way I can manipulate the outcome. I have to work with what's right there at that very moment. And I do the same thing with the cards. And as I said, if people want to schedule a reading with me, they can get a hold of the page and they can get you in contact with me, and it'd be great. I would love to work with every single one of you. So what I'm going to do is I have my pouch here with the runes. So normally what I do is I'll focus, right? And what I've been doing this entire time is I've been holding the runes in my hand. I've been pouring energy into the runes, and I've just been thinking about, well, I'm about to cast them, right? I did a prayer to Odin to guide the runes. And normally when I do divination, I wear this. This was a gift that was given to me by Papa Hood Sorcery, sent me a package. He's a really great guy. You know Papa Hood. He's our mutual friend, Summer. And he
all right.
And he's well, you know him by his not business name. So I don't want to put his personal name out there.
Yes, of course. You can tell me later. Sorry.
Right. So he's a really great guy, and what I do is I keep all my divination items together so that the energy can flow together because of the state of a causal energy that's into place. And I can talk about a causal energy another day, because causality and acausality and all those things, that's a very long conversation we don't have time for today. Okay. That's a very deep pond, and we only have time for a puddle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everyone a very simple method to cast runes. That you want 3 runes is what we're going to do. Okay. Now you can cast once and discern from everything. But for the sake of the time constraint that we have today and the time that we have with Ryan, because he's a busy mama, is we have to make sure that we have time, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the runes, and this way, if you're just sitting there and all you have is your hands or a tray, you can do this yourself, all right? So you're going to take the runes and you're going to pour them out onto your tray, all right? Now, as you can see, some runes are facing up, some runes are facing down, some runes are sideways. Any rune that is not facing up, you're going to remove from the tray. All right? Because those were the runes that were not meant for the reading. And then once you collect all the runes from the tray that do not belong, and you set them off to the side, normally what I would do is I would take the time and I individually put them into the pouch. But again, we're on a time constraint, right? I don't want to take all your guys' time watching me fiddle around with bags and rocks, right? So now you want to make sure you have the blank rune on there, just because it acts as an agent of chaos to be able to mix things up.
She wasn't saying that. She was saying that she got them. Yeah, sorry.
So what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to pick them all up again. All right. Now I have to use both hands because I got tiny hands. All right. And we're going to take them and we're going to just pour them back on to the tray. And again, any runes that aren't facing definitively up, we are going to remove until we reach down to 3 runes. Okay. Again, this purpose is the definition of chaos, right? We're not We're not manipulating anything. We're not doing anything fancy. It's as simple as nature, as rocks falling with gravity. That is the definition of what we're doing. Because the less we do, the more we can see. Because we don't want to manipulate the outcome. We're not looking to hear from me. We're looking to hear what the runes have to say to Ryan. Okay? So you continue to just cast and remove. So now we've gotten to the final 4. And the only 4, there's only 2 that remained up. Okay, so you want to go till you reach, a maximum of 3. Okay. So what we have here, okay, is the blank rune, which I like to use. It's they call it weird. Okay. It's a modern invention because there's no proof that blank runes existed back then because it was blank, right? But I like to use it as a symbol of this is where we start. And what we have here, okay, we have 2 runes. We have Gabo, which we actually talked about last week. And then we have Othala, which we also talked about last week, which is really fortunate because we're talking about runes that were already discussed, so I don't have to explain new things, right? So it's interesting how that works. But this is upside down, so it's what we refer to as Merkstave. Okay? So let's discuss what Gabo and Othala means to Ryan in Ryan's context. All right. Now, Gabo, at its very, very base, means gift. Okay? Gift. If you look at Gabo, it looks almost, it's an intersecting point, right? Or if you say they're hands that are exchanging gifts, okay? It's a intersection of energies, right? It is gifts that are given beyond. So there could be a question of talent and a question of these things that are coming to you that are beyond yourself. And also specifically dealing with prosperity and looking for where the next opportunity is going to come. Okay? Because we're looking at, that's the context, right? The first rune is your context. Your first rune is like your question. Your first rune is, this is what we're dealing with and this is what we're looking for. And the second rune deals specifically more with developing that to let us know this is where the end location is. Okay, this is where you get that. So in this situation, we have very little wiggle room. We have 2 runes, okay? We have Gabo and Merkstave Othala, okay? So Merkstave Othala deals with home, ancestry, innate oneness, deals with ancestral halls, a bloodline, and lineage, okay? Being Merkstave, or reversed, you could almost say it means the opposite, right? So unknown territory, things that are unfamiliar. So Ryan, what you're looking at is you're at a crossroads, so to speak, such as Gabo. And even though I know you very personally, we don't really talk about your personal endeavors. We mostly talk about the occult, I would think is fair. In music, we talk about the occult, then we talk about music, and we sometimes will talk about our prospective relationships with members of romantic interest, right? But we don't really talk about business, and we don't really talk about too much deep personal things, right? We just mainly stick to the channels of occult music. It would seem like you are looking to deepen your gift or deepen opportunity, that you are at a crossroads of decision. that perhaps you haven't even discussed with anybody. And what this decision is it's looks like it's taking you away from comfort zone, away from home. Something new that's unfamiliar. Something that you may not necessarily have any business thinking to do, but because of this inverted Athala, of this not homeness, this place of unbelonging, right? It might be a field that you feel like you don't even belong in whatsoever. But it looks like the opportunity belongs in the place that is not home. Because when we look at, ancestry, right, at home, we look at familiarity, right? We look at familiarity. We look at home as everything that we know and everything that we've personally built. Right? Athala also means property. Okay? So these opportunities that you're looking to be presented with or that you're going to be presented with don't belong to you. Okay? But that doesn't mean that that's not where you're supposed to be headed. What I see is this invitation into the unknown, this invitation into a place where you don't belong, this opportunity where you don't belong, as Gabo presents it, as a gift.
That's interesting. Ryan, we can hear what we're saying. Just in case if you got any questions, you can ask something to Kova if you want. Sorry, Ryan, I can hear what you're saying. I'm not sure if you got your sound or something. Sorry about that.
But sometimes Ryan's stuff doesn't like to work right. Ryan, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands for me, real quick. Just okay. But ultimately, people.
Yeah.
When we look at the runes, okay. Now my readings normally are much bigger, but again, we have a little bit of a time constraint here, right?
Yeah, of course.
And of course, me and Ryan, he's going to have a lot of questions for me. So probably after we get off this, he's going to call me and be like, bro, right? So, or son, as he would say it, son. I'm like, I know, Mom, I know. And it's going to be one of those things of a conversation that takes place, because the reading itself is just one part. Using the tools is one part. Yeah. And Ryan's a great person to listen to. I'm telling you, he's got such a lovely voice. You should hear his singing voice. It's so pretty.
Oh, can we have him sing one of these songs one of these days? Oh, can you please tell me?
Ryan's singing voice sounds like something that you would summon in a really wrong part of your basement.
Maybe that's why they call it the dead.
Yeah, it's like
it's the dead hard metal.
Yeah, he will have, as I said, he will post his link. He'll post his link to his band in the down below. And if you want to hear him whisper sweet nothings into your ear, I'm sure he'd be glad to send you voice clips. I promise you, he'd be more glad to send you voice clips and be like, "Hey, baby," just really crank it out. I do it too, by the way. Me and him, we go back and forth on saying who sucks more, and the answer is me. Did you see the look on his face? He's like, "Really, bro? Really? No, you stop. It's his mom. It's the mom in him that makes him be so supportive."
It's so weird that he wants to talk and he can't. But we all know that Kova will do all the talking for everyone else.
Hey, trust me. This guy out talks me on the phone.
No.
Yeah, yes, he does. It's almost a blessing in disguise,
I'm
Ryan.
joking.
Maybe try taking out your headphone jack, Ryan, and putting it back in and pressing the audio button, and that might be able to enable your audio.
Does he got headphones?
I have no idea.
I think not.
He's playing around with it.
He's
But
trying to figure out what's going on, but
if anyone does actually have a question right now about divination,
divination, runes.
if you want to hear a specific topic talked about, right? Because I saw some familiar faces pop up and say hi. I want your input. I want to know what you want to know about.
I think they prefer like a
karaoke session. Oh no! Oh, you know what? There's an app called Smule, and I'm on there, and so is Summer.
Yes, you don't need to tell her.
We act the fool on there. There may or may not have been at one point a tinfoil hat.
We still didn't add any song.
I know. It's such a shame. And I've been trying to get Ryan to join on there so me and him could sing together. I need his pretty voice to complete my songs.
And what else? If anyone got any questions, I'm sorry. Today it's been quiet, but
it's fine.
You managed to give a reading to Ryan, which was really amazing. You said very interesting stuff, Kova. Thank you for that.
For my personal readings that I do, I actually, depending on how much you want from me on things, I actually have been known to use both the tarot and the runes at the same time to give one conclusive reading to go together. And I will cast the runes only one time, and all the upright runes are the runes that I use with the 15-card spread that I use.
All right. I think they are more interested in your voice, in your beautiful voice.
My Smule handle. Oh man, I tell you, get in contact with Summer, and she will make sure to get you my Smule handle. So,
you know what? He got like a Pavarotti voice.
Oh yeah, hey Ryan, that's a new one. I was compared to Papa Roach. I love it.
Anyway,
I have almost as much experience in the occult as I do in singing, so that's scary. But as far as what the runes, you don't have to just ask about runes, Sarah, because you said you're not too familiar. I got over 15 years of study formally.
So, tell us, Kova, which was your first tool? Which one was your first? Was it cards?
My first form of divination?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to talk about predictive events and things of that nature,
something visions
that would be the first thing. My first experience with the occult is I did chakra meditation when I was about 13, and I projected out of my body. That was my first experience of doing it on purpose. When I was a child, I traveled to the elemental plane of fire, and I had a talk with a couple of individuals. But working with chakras very, very young, and then just studying alchemy as well. Just getting really deep into the thing. And past life work, that's really, really important. If you've done some past life regression, there's some very, very interesting ways to confirm past lives. And it's really great. And I'm really glad that you are enjoying yourself, Sarah. Make sure to share to people and tune in. We're a weekly thing. We're looking to go to twice a week. And we're also looking, I'm going to be at some point when I am set up properly, going to be doing a daily podcast, which will be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of stuff in the future. Summer, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
We got a lot of plans.
Yes, we do. Yes,
got a
and
lot of plans.
if anyone wants to join us, feel free. Even if anyone wants to come like on the screen and ask questions to Kova, that would be lovely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for a
Hey, Ryan,
conversation.
maybe he can talk now. Try to talk now.
Mom!
Yay!
Do you have any questions, Ryan?
I'm curious. So, how do you? What are the rules with discernment as far as the runes? Like you said that the face down ones you take off the table, and you said that means that they're not supposed to participate in that. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but is there a good reason that you know as to why that is?
Well, all right. Are you ready? I'm not very good with binary, but I know the ones and zeros mean something, right? Negative, positive, open, closed. It's kind of like if they were meant to be read, they'd be face up. If a book is closed, you can't read it.
Oh, of course.
All right. So it is one of those things of if they were meant to be read, they'd fall face up. It seems like a really simple thing, and you're like, well, it should be more than that. Well, yeah, there's more than that. There's a consciousness attached to every single rune, and that rune decided, well, I'm not supposed to be in this reading, so I'm going to make sure I'm face down.
I see.
So, if you look at chaos theory, right? And
sorry, I didn't mean to distract. You can finish that. What you're going to say?
If the I was just reading a comment. The whole thing of energy, right, and divination, and rune casting, and all that. It's way more simple than people want to make it out to be. I'm not a gatekeeper by any means. If I say something about something and I speak against it, it's not because I'm trying to shut someone down. It's because I'm trying to show them that there is a different way to do things that might work better and that's way easier to do. Like, for instance, I talked to someone last night who he used a sigil generator off the internet where you type in words and it gives you a sigil. And his reasoning was, well, my sigils, they look like crap when I make them. And my question is, why does the way your sigil look matter about the effect it has? It doesn't. A sigil, the whole point of drawing a sigil is you are creating something through pure will and intent at that time, regardless of the form that it takes. So using a sigil generated by something else, you're using something derivative that could have a different intent put behind it. So you could be charging something that could be working against you or working towards something that's not in your benefit and towards someone else's benefit. So what you want to do when you do your work is you want to strip it down to the very, very basics. So casting a rock on the ground, and whether it's face up or face down, it's as simple as it gets. You know, and then there's the science behind it of, you know, spiritual entities manipulating them to make sure that they land the right way and this or that. And I could get really, really technical and impress you with language, but that takes a lot of energy and time. And I respect you guys too much to try to impress you. Right? I'd rather just give you the information and be like, well, it's as simple as if you don't like someone, you're not going to shake their hand. If you want to talk to someone, you're going to open your mouth. So if that rune was meant for that reading, it would turn face up. And that's how it would land. Okay. And with you've seen Jurassic Park with the chaos theory of the drop of water and it landing a specific way and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now you can just attribute that to chaos, but the truth is the moisture landing on the lines of the skin and the little cracks that we have manipulates the flow of water. So there is a science behind just saying, well, it happens because it happens. But the truth of it is you don't gain anything extra outside of some education for that. You can work just fine knowing that the runes that land face up are the runes that you're supposed to work with. Now, there's another method. For instance, if I put them all back in the bag, I can show you guys real quick. I'm going to pull an extra rune for Ryan. Okay. And the reason why is I'm just going to show you a separate method of doing so. Okay. And it's a really, really simple thing. And it comes with, if you've ever read any of William Walter Atkinson's work, he was a Rosicrucian, and he did a lot of writing, right? He talked about the sixth and seventh senses, because we have clairaudience and clairvoyance beyond that, and the ability to sense things on a spiritual level, that everyone has these extra perception abilities. It's just not everyone's developed it. Okay, so you take your runes and you put your hand in there. And the rune that I got was Ingaz. Okay?
Okay.
Ingaz deals with success and fertility.
Oh, wow. Ryan, be careful.
Okay?
Watch out.
It represents the god Ing or Freyr. Okay?
Okay.
Now, Frey or Ingaz had this really great line of kings and stuff, and known as the Inglings, which on my mother's side, through some like research, I found out that I am like connected to all that nonsense, but that ain't important. But what is important is this rune doesn't contradict what was said to Ryan earlier. It talks about success.
Oh, okay.
What the rune said still apply.
Oh.
So the opportunity
Makes
that
sense.
leads outside of your comfort zone will lead to success.
Can I be cheeky and ask for you to pick me one?
To pick you one.
Yeah.
So for me and you, we talk a lot off of camera, and we're almost out of time. So what about later today or tomorrow?
Okay, I don't want to take advantage of your goodwill.
I know.
That's fine.
I'm like her prize pony, guys. She leads me around by the bit, makes me eat carrots, makes me trot.
Oh my god! I make you eat.
Don't even get me started on the saddle, Ryan.
Okay, so carry on doing the Ryan readings. It's fine.
So, also because I prepared myself specifically for Ryan, I would want to clear myself to make sure I'd be prepared for you. And that's why I don't just jump from reading to reading to reading. If I have readings scheduled back to back, I'm going to put like a 30-minute window between them, because I want to make sure that I'm clear and that my stuff is clear so that I can be prepared for that specific person. That's why I don't just line people up and just do stuff. At the very least, I have a little ritual that I do to where I clear, I do my incantations and things of that nature. But as far as it goes, I approach every situation with the level of reverence that it's supposed to have.
Okay.
And
do you do the same with cards or with all your tools, or it's more with
everything deserves its reverence. Okay, so if you do a working and it's like going for a run, right? If you don't stretch beforehand, and if you haven't ran in forever, you're going to run out of breath. So you prepare for the task at hand. The reason why people come to people like me and Summer, because me and Summer have put years and years of practice and study, and we've poured our own personal finances into it, and we're poor because of it, because this is what we do, right?
It's true. We are poor because we don't help people for free.
We put ourselves out there because this is the path that we walk.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same thing with.
I can't do a reading for Ryan if I haven't put the personal study into it.
Oh yeah.
Ryan was going to say something super deep, and then he stopped.
No, I was just going to say something along
that
the lines
man is a golden nugget, I tell you.
Yeah, go on,
He's
just
full
say
of great insight. If you can ever get him to talk.
Let me just say, this has been so interesting, you know, and we've been already 45 minutes, and I didn't even realize how time passed so fast.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's been...
right. So we're coming to a close here pretty soon, people. So, again, if we're going to be here every week, and we're going to have a second show getting set up, and we're going to try to keep it from about 30-minute marks, except when we do special days like today, where we have people in.
Yes, they were just saying that you miss my readings because I do lots of readings online.
I look forward. And you know what? Summer is phenomenal. I am an intellectual person that I like a very private sessions. I don't like doing public sessions because reading with me be between you and the reading.
Kova, can you just approach a little bit? Can you approach yourself a little bit, Kova, because your connection is breaking down. For some reason, your connection is a bit better when you are
okay.
Don't ask me why, but maybe it's the energy. Sorry.
Yep, you were cutting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The connection across the board seems to be kind of funky monkey. But I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Remember that Gnosis is a very deep personal thing, and we can only take you so far. So nothing will ever replace personal grade work, self-discovery, and study. But for those who want to be lazy and take shortcuts, we're here. As well as if you guys want to learn and be educated, we're here as well. As I said, I have a few apprentices that I take along with me, and that I'm very, very proud of, and I have a lot of love for. They're like my children, and we're all just on this really great journey together.
You got Dr. Love.
I really appreciate your time today, Ryan.
Absolutely, and you guys as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It was so lovely to have you. I hope we can just, come back, the three of us, and talk again. Maybe something different.
Sure.
Yeah, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great.
Next time, Ryan's going to have to actually be able to talk, though.
I know, it cut out there for a good minute.
He's going to have to get out of his luxury sedan.
Next time, maybe Kova will let us talk just for 5 minutes each one.
Oh. I'm sorry.
You've got a lot to share. It's great.
I'm joking. That's why I'm here, because we love to hear you. I'm sorry, I'm joking. You know that, I'm joking. We love to hear.
You know what? Next time, I will take my clock. And I'll make sure you have 5 minutes of this clock.
Okay.
You need
the reality of my set, people.
5 minutes. You are breaking down again.
No, you stuck.
And that's why we need your support.
Yes, just put that clock down because you break it
down. Stop the time.
Oh my God. All right, guys, do you have any more questions before we go? If anyone got any more questions, I'm sorry, Ryan, we didn't have any questions already. You are breaking a lot, Kova. Sorry.
Oh no. Yep.
Yes.
Lost him again.
So, Ryan, it was really a pleasure to meet you. And now you are part of the family. Hope to see you very soon. And Kova will come back this week. Not sure what day we're going to have, like a specific day that me and Kova will still need to organize. But I've been really busy too, and he's got his own life too, as obvious. But we'll have like a specific day to be here in the week. Do you have anything else to say, Kova?
Oh, he's really frozen.
The big thing, as always.
All right then. So I'll see you later, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. It was just like a little bit of bonding and lots of love, and it was really a pleasure to meet Ryan. I'll see you very, very soon. Yes, because Sarah is saying that she wants a reading with Kova. So maybe next time we'll see.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can. We'll be in contact.
But not today. So let me just, before I go, let me just tell everyone. On Monday, 8:30 in England, we're going to have James. James is going to tell me all about. He's going to tell us all about his life too, about his journey. So don't forget, tomorrow it's going to be me and Jade at 8:00, like every Sundays. And Monday, James is going to be with us at 8:30 to talk about his journey too. So lots of love and light. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much for being here, Ryan and Kova.
Yep. It's been a good time.